A phone rings. Unknown number. Akilah Hughes answers it anyway. The voice on the other end belongs to Chelsea Peretti, Jordan Peele's wife, a woman Hughes has never met, calling from a number she has no explanation for, on a day when Hughes is riding high on a seven-figure TV deal. The first thing Peretti says is,
She says, I'm just calling you because I wish someone would have warned me. She does about an hour of a monologue at me about how, she thinks that his wife is like Phil Hartman's wife. That she wouldn't trust her to hold a baby. And so I'm celebrating one day. It's the Olympics that didn't happen in 2020. It's the weird 2021, and I love the Olympics. And so I'm waiting for a burrito to come to my door, and I get a phone call from, unknown, which is probably a bill collector, I think. But hey, I'm riding high. So I answer the call, and it is from Banana's wife. And Banana's wife says, hey, I just had dinner with Locke and his wife. They say they're doing a show with you. And I said, yeah. And I, again, don't know how she got my phone number. So this seems urgent. And she says something that, chills go down my back. I never eat the burrito, spoiler alert. She says, I'm just calling you because I wish someone would have warned me. She does about an hour of a monologue at me about how, she thinks that his wife is like Phil Hartman's wife. That she wouldn't trust her to hold a baby. That she once poured alcohol on her birthday cake and this person is sober. And she says, there's no accounting for how much money she's cost that black man. And the light above the television burned out. This is a second red flag. I should take the hint.
She then spends the next hour comparing Keegan-Michael Key's wife to the woman who murdered Phil Hartman in his sleep. Hughes never eats the burrito. The light above the television burns out. That is where the story starts. Before any of that, you have to understand what these two men actually built. Before we start, I just want to let you know that a few days ago, our new editor said we cannot reach 1,000 subscribers before 14 days, and with a few days gone now, I'm starting to think we might lose this challenge, but I thought I will let you guys know. If you want to help with the challenge, kindly just subscribe to help us win this challenge. It all counts. Thank you. Key and Peele ran on Comedy Central from 2012 to 2015. 5 seasons. The show produced sketches that don't just get quoted, they get reenacted, recut, and re-uploaded decades later. The substitute teacher sketch has cleared 90 million views. The Valets, East/West College Bowl, Obama's anger translator. These weren't viral moments. They were cultural furniture. Keegan-Michael Key came up through Mad TV, a proving ground that filtered out everyone who couldn't perform at pace. He was described by every person who worked with him as one of the nicest, most genuinely talented people in the industry. Not as a persona, as a fact. His range ran from physical comedy to dramatic weight, and he had years of audience goodwill built entirely on his own terms. Jordan Peele, meanwhile, went on to win an Oscar for Get Out. Followed it with Us. Then Nope. He became a filmmaker whose name alone sells tickets. A level of creative control most comedians never get close to. By any reasonable measure, these two men should have been one of the most powerful creative partnerships in Hollywood. The foundation was there. The talent was there. The chemistry was documented, proven, and beloved. And then, quietly, without explanation, it wasn't. It's the glitched system, and this is why one of comedy's greatest partnerships quietly stopped being one. After Key and Peele ended in 2015, the split was presented as mutual and clean. Jordan Peele wanted to make films. Keegan-Michael Key wanted to keep performing. They said the friendship was intact. They said they were proud of each other. Key, when asked about Peele winning the Oscar for Get Out in 2018, said this,
You can never take it away from him. He's got an Oscar. You can't take it away from him. And then I got a little verklempt. Then I cried. Oh, yeah, I did. I'm just so proud of him because he started working on this script the year after he left Mad TV. So that's 9 years ago. That's about 9 years ago.
A man moved to tears by his former partner's success. That is the height of the friendship as the public understood it. What the public didn't see was what was already happening behind it. Keegan-Michael Key had gotten married. His wife, Elle Key, a former performer who had transitioned into producing, was becoming more present in his professional orbit. The Fly on the Wall podcast, the Audi campaign, a book on sketch comedy history. He described the working relationship as effortless.
You have such a flow at this point in your lives, with each other, or how's the marriage going? You seem very happy, but sometimes there's a lot of tension underneath. I'm kidding. No.
I think the work.
I was like, this is your last question.
The work stuff is easy,
Mm-hmm.
which is odd because I feel like people are always like, I couldn't work with my wife or I couldn't work with my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, how do you do that? And so, well, we were friends and we were working together and figuring out how to work together before the other stuff.
Before you became romantic?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So that's a big, big difference. So you're friends. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So we're friends, like similar sense of humor. We, what is it that we,
Well, we
get along really well.
Our minds are kind of work as one. It's amazing. We really do. It's like we finish each other's
sandwiches.
sentences.
Sandwiches. Those sandwiches.
Can I ask you a romantic question? Because I've never had that experience. I've been married for 71 years of it. We're happily married. But this idea that you're friends.
Elle, you started as a performer, but then very quickly went, I kind of want to be behind the scenes. Now, people don't really understand what producers do. It can mean a lot of different things, but producers make shows possible. They make the shoot possible.
I say they're problem solvers.
Great.
What's the problem? Location,
right. And how have you solved, what can you remember a time when you solved a problem that you thought was unsolvable?
That is the irony quote. Hold it. You're going to need it later. What was already registering quietly in rooms Key wasn't in was something different. An industry agent, watching the pitch process for a new sketch show Key had agreed to develop with comedian Akilah Hughes, called Hughes Without Warning. How do they feel about his wife, who is now somehow the executive producer on my show? Hughes hadn't put her there. Nobody had announced it. No credit had been earned. The title just appeared.
How do they feel about his wife, who is now somehow the executive producer on my show? And I'm like, I hadn't really thought about it. I don't think people like her very much. And she's like, yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I realized I liked making sketch comedy. I liked having the big production behind it. I was tired of being like a self-starter. I wanted to sell out. And I got the opportunity. A few of my friends who work for different television shows came to me and they said, do you want to make a sketch comedy show, your star vehicle, where, it'll be you and you'll be writing about, the media and misinformation, but like through the lens of sketch comedy. And I was like, yes, but I need someone to help usher me in. And so one of those friends said, hey, I've got a great person to give you this opportunity. He is, and I don't think this is too shady, I think it's true, the less successful half of a comedy duo that was prolific in the 2010s. Perhaps, I think their code names could be Lock and Banana. And Lock is gonna use his name to carry you to the forefront of pop culture. And so we came up with a pitch. We practiced it. It was like so good. I mean, like not only is there a keynote presentation, but there are videos. We get one of the people pitching with us to go on Pierce Morgan and force him to say the tagline from the show, unwittingly. We are selling the show all over town. And, we get a few offers. which is like a feeling that like is unlike any other, where you're like, we are wanted. Like it's coming together. And during the pitch process, Locke gets his dream. He's asked to host SNL. And he does. And we have this agreement. We're like, and you're going to say the name of the show. You're just going to put it in there at the end when you're doing your thank yous at the end of SNL. And we should have known then that, like, he didn't say it. And it was, like, the only thing he had to say. But there were some things he said that were, like, weird. And thanking his wife, who becomes a weird main character in this whole story. And so my agent at the time calls me. And she goes, how is pitching going? How do people feel about Locke? And I'm like, oh, my God, they love him. Everybody loves Locke. And she's like, that's great, that's great. How do they feel about his wife, who is now somehow the executive producer on my show? And I'm like, I hadn't really thought about it. I don't think people like her very much. And she's like, yeah, that's what I'm hearing. And I'm like, okay, so like, are you saying like we're not gonna be able to sell this? Or she's like, listen, people like you and they like Locke. It'll come together. And so I forgive this sort of moment. But that should have been the red flag where I said, hey, maybe we like pause this. We haven't sold it yet. We're all still free. Let's just recalibrate. Not me. I was like, no, because it's more important to have a celebrity attached. So we keep going. We get 2 offers. One, kind of mid. The other from a major studio that I won't name because I don't want to be sued. But you can imagine that their main character is vermin, if you think about it. If he was in your house, you wouldn't like that. But if he was at a theme park, you might be excited to see him. So we signed the deal. We are locked in. We are getting several figures. It's all gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
That is the first sign that the machine around Key was running on someone else's agenda. He just didn't know it yet. Key was asked to host Saturday Night Live. This was, by any measure, a good thing. A stamp of legitimacy. A cultural moment. Hughes and Key had one agreement around it, simple, low stakes, one sentence. When Key did his closing thank yous at the end of the episode, he would name the show. Slip it in. A single mention. The only ask. He didn't say it. What he said instead, in the closing moments of a live national broadcast in front of millions of people, was a long, warm, specific thank you to his wife. Hughes's agent called the next morning. Not to congratulate. To report. The rooms had already cooled. People liked Key. Nobody liked the attachment that came with him. 2 offers still on the table. The deal still possible. And Hughes, to her credit, flagged it to herself as a red flag and kept moving anyway. Because the money was real, the opportunity was real, and Key was genuinely talented and genuinely kind. That decision, the decision to absorb the warning and proceed, is where the story actually breaks. Because the SNL moment was not the worst thing that happened. Not even close. May 2023. Pre-production. The pilot script is done. Cast is attached. Location is locked. The whole team is on a Zoom to do a final pass before shooting. Key joins the call late. Yells at the room about having the wrong Zoom link. Everyone else is on the correct one. She settles in. Then she offers her notes.
Finally, we're in pre-production. This is like May 2023. And I'm excited. We're doing like a last meeting about going through the sketches. We're all feeling good about it. And for once, the wife joins the call. She first of all, she comes on and then yells at everybody because she said she got the wrong Zoom, but everybody else was on the Zoom. Anyway, she's here to offer notes. Yeah, she has no credits without this man. Her notes are, comedy happens in 3s. The letter K is funny. And finally, give the audience some candy. Now, how do you implement these notes?
This is a half-hour script, built by professional comedy writers, with a production timeline and a studio deal behind it. The notes land in the room like a foreign language. Nobody implements them. Nobody laughs. One commenter online, watching Hughes recount this story later, put it simply, "The letter K is funny, is not a note. It's a warning sign, but the production kept moving, because the money was still real, and Key still hadn't done anything wrong." L apparently took the lack of enthusiasm as a personal grievance. Key threatens to sue the network, not for a rights dispute, not over credits or IP. The creative notes weren't received warmly, and the response is a legal threat. The network goes silent. 1 month. Hughes' 7-figure deal, the thing she quit her previous job for, the project she moved to Los Angeles for, is frozen. No pre-production, no timeline, just waiting.
In a script that is a half-hour long, has people attached, has a location, and we're all just like, sure, man, we'll add 3 Ks or something. I don't know. Like one time she bragged on one of our calls about knowing Kristen Cinema. So I said, what that have to say for herself? She did not like that. Well, she didn't like that nobody laughed or thought her ideas were good, so she threatens to sue the network. Now let me pause there because I brought a text. I brought something that was another red flag that I should have seen. This is from Dumois, an anonymous blind item that someone submitted. They said, since Locke was hosting SNL, I wanted to say, whenever I see him, I can only think of his wife. She has a bunch of food allergies. And she had an allergy attack about a eucalyptus plant by her table at Tribeca Grill. And then, in parentheses, on the celeb sighting list. Acting like she couldn't breathe. The plant was fake, and I showed it to her. She just said, oh, and acted totally normal after that. He was very nice about it and apologized after. He left a good tip. Bizarre, though. And so she threatens to sue the company. She threatens to sue the vermin. And so for a month, we hear nothing. We're no longer in pre-production. We're waiting around. My dreams, the thing I quit my dream job for, thinking I was going to be ushered into the pop culture memory of the United States of America, is on hold. And they get back to us after a month and they say, hey, we paid them off the project, but you have to write a whole new pilot. And I'm like, at this point, well, fuck, like these are all our best ideas. And also, like, they're like, one day you can perform that for the internet, but like we own the TV rights to that. So we do what writers do. We come back together and we write a banger script. Because we know that if the vermin has nothing, they have IP. And we write a script that is filled with Muppets. We believe that we're gonna have something worth fighting for. And, you know, we know that the strike is coming. It's in all of the papers. We all know that, like, there is this entertainment breakdown on the way. But we have, like, a few more weeks to just shoot the fucking pilot. And right before it happens, you know, Bob Iger's come back, Bobby Gare, and he's got my dream in his hands. And he cancels every single show in production.
All the original IP stays with the studio. The sketches, the bits, the keynote presentation they used to sell the show, the best ideas Hughes had, are now owned by a company and cannot be performed on television. Hughes can tell the story on the internet someday. She cannot shoot the pilot. She goes back to the room and writes a new script, because that's what professionals do. And because the show, now filled with Muppets, rebuilt from the ground up, still has a shot. It doesn't get a shot. The entertainment industry shutdown arrives. Bob Iger returns to Disney. Every show in production that hadn't locked a shoot date gets canceled. Hughes' show is on that list. The project is dead. Not because the writing was bad. Not because Key's name couldn't carry it. Because a legal threat created a 1-month delay, and a 1-month delay put the project on the wrong side of a corporate shutdown. That's how close I came before Hollywood died. That is the public record.
That is just a project that I could not talk about, that was never announced, that was supposed to be my dream, that fell by the wayside. But, you know, there is an upside to this. You know, Julie said at the beginning, there are beginnings and endings all the time. And so that did end. And look, you know, what can be said? Locke, he's still playing, you know, I don't know, a frog in a movie about a video game, something like that. He never gets to be himself in public, and his partner has won Oscars. And everyone knows that his wife has ruined his career. It is diminishing returns. He's doing insurance commercials where there are other celebrities in it who are playing themselves, and he is playing a guy with a guitar. And that's the story of how close I came before Hollywood died.
That is what Akilah Hughes went on stage and said. And that is when the internet started going back through everything.
Now, who are we referencing when we say Locke and Banana? So Banana, Jordan Peele. Locke is Keegan-Michael Key, and this is his wife. There are allegations that she has a very bad anger problem, that he cannot rehearse without her being there, that he's afraid to not have her present when he's going to certain events and things to that extent. It's alleged that that's what ultimately led to them not being a duo anymore. I won't say the show itself, but them just being that paired duo. If what she was told or what she stated is actual fact, then he needs to do something. He needs to do something quick. I don't think people realize that men can also be in an abusive relationship, especially when the woman looks like her.
She's currently going viral. She starts a Twitter thread about why Key and Peele allegedly don't work together anymore. Akilah Hughes starts a Twitter thread that links to a stand-up set that she does. And in the Twitter thread, she says, if you ever wondered why, and these names are bleeped out, K *** and P **EL don't work together anymore, well, watch the next video in this thread. It's funny because like a lot of people in the comments are like, I thought you were saying Cash Patel. They were like,
oh, wow.
They were like, I thought you were saying why Cash Patel doesn't work anymore in this current political climate. But it's clearly about Key and Peele. Now that this has come up, like lots of other like people have responded to this tweet being like, I have met Locke's wife. And, like there was a girl who was like, girl, I worked at Comedy Central when Locke was there, and let me tell you, the wife. Like,
really?
Yeah. So the thread is now full of comments being like, yes, I can confirm Locke's wife is. Yeah. They're like,
and this is allegedly Key's wife.
Yes,
so
this
from
is
Key and Peele.
Correct.
Allegedly, this is Key's wife.
Key's wife. Right. Yes. The code names were Locke and Peele, Locke for Key, and like this is all allegedly about Key's wife being a nightmare to work with. Apparently, though, a lot of the comments are saying Key is very nice. They're saying he's very kind, very lovely, very sweet. It's just his wife is allegedly not the nicest.
What is up with that?
Yeah.
Here is the thing that changes the entire story. Jordan Peele spent years making a film about a black man with a white partner who systematically controls his life, isolates him from the people who love him, and dismantles his autonomy piece by piece, all while presenting a picture of domestic harmony to the outside world. Get Out won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay in 2018. Peele started writing it the year after he left Mad TV. The same year he and Key went their separate ways. The allegation, circulating across Reddit, X, and TikTok simultaneously, reaching hundreds of thousands of people within days of Hughes' story going viral, is that Jordan Peele didn't just make a horror film. He wrote a warning. He made the film about what he was watching happen to his former partner in real time. And nobody decoded it correctly until now. If you haven't figured out by now, Get Out was written about Key and his wife. That is the apex. The story stops being celebrity drama and becomes a cultural artifact. The evidence was never just in the allegations. It was in a movie everyone watched, on a screen everyone sat in front of, in a script that won the most prestigious writing award in film. Jordan Peele tried to tell us. We just weren't paying attention. Strip away the names. Strip away the industry. Strip away the Hollywood gossip. What you are left with is a story about what happens when talented people outsource their judgment. Keegan-Michael Key is, by every account from everyone who has ever worked with him, a genuinely kind, genuinely talented person. He is not the villain of this story. He is not even the subject of the fall in the traditional sense. He didn't lie. He didn't cheat. He didn't manufacture a persona that collapsed under scrutiny. He just let the wrong person get too close to the machine, and the machine stopped working. The internet's account of what happened to him is devastating precisely because it is so ordinary. We have all seen this pattern. A world that gets smaller. A partner who becomes the filter for who is trustworthy and who is not. Old friends who stop calling. Family members who become estranged. Opportunities that stop arriving. What makes Key's version of this story extraordinary is the scale of what was lost. He had a direct line to one of Hollywood's most powerful creative forces. He had audience goodwill that most performers never accumulate. He had built something rare. A comedy partnership with genuine creative language, documented chemistry, and lasting cultural impact. And he described the person who may have cost him all of that as someone whose mind works as one with his. Like finishing each other's sandwiches. Our minds kind of work as one. It's amazing. It's like we finish each other's sandwiches. The sandwiches line hits very differently now. Jordan Peele, meanwhile, made Get Out, and Us, and Nope. He is not doing insurance commercials. The gap between those two trajectories is not talent. It is not luck. It is not creative divergence. Jordan Peele didn't leave Keegan-Michael Key behind. Key handed the keys to someone who had no business driving, and by the time he noticed the destination was wrong, Jordan Peele was already gone. We have quite a few shout-outs today. The shout-out of the day goes to Christopher TM, Big Gata Band, MR Reality 2010, Niche 0 NE, Brittany Foley 7085, and AI Talks 1234. Thank you all for the support. I really appreciate you. If you guys want to get a shout out in the very next video, then all you have to do is drop a comment down below letting me know or simply just asking for a shout out, and there's a chance that you might get one in the very next video. Please kindly subscribe to help with the Peter Challenge. As always, it's the Glitch System, and I want to thank you all for watching today's video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.